Have you ever found yourself watching your pet, that loyal four-legged companion, and suddenly felt a shiver run down your spine? That moment when they stop, ears perked up, eyes fixed on a random spot in the house where, to you, there is absolutely nothing? That sudden bark down the dark hallway, the low growl directed at an empty wall, or the fearful meow toward a corner of the room that, until then, was completely harmless. Could it be just the vivid imagination of your furry friend, a misdirected hunting instinct? Or are they somehow perceiving something more, something beyond our human perception, a subtle presence, perhaps even an entity from the invisible world? This is a question that echoes in the minds of countless pet owners around the world, fueling a mix of curiosity, fascination, and, why not, a certain apprehension. After all, who hasn't witnessed their dog or cat acting inexplicably, as if interacting with a reality parallel to ours? Have you experienced this? That moment when you look at your pet and, for a moment, wonder if they might be some kind of antenna for the supernatural, a living detector of ghosts and presences that we, with our more limited or perhaps more skeptical senses, simply cannot register. The truth is that animal sensitivity has always been shrouded in mystery, and when it comes to the possibility that they can sense what we cannot see, the subject becomes even more intriguing. Many of us share a deep and inexplicable spiritual connection with our pets. It's a bond that goes beyond words, built on trust, affection, and a mutual understanding that seems to transcend logic. But what if that connection were even deeper? What if our pets, with their purity and keen instincts, were capable of perceiving nuances in the environment, subtle energies, or even manifestations that go completely unnoticed by us? Stay with me until the end, because in this video, we're going to dive headfirst into the fascinating and sometimes chilling universe of pets' sensitivity to invisible presences. We'll explore together the evidence, the stories, and the theories that try to decipher this enigma. Get ready, because what you're about to discover now might surprise you and, who knows, forever change the way you see your best friend's behavior. Could they be our guardians, not only in the physical realm, but also in spheres we are just beginning to understand? Are they warning us about something that dwells in the shadows, or simply expressing a heightened perception of a world that coexists with ours but remains hidden to most? That fixed stare of your pet into the void may not be so empty after all. That shiver you feel when they behave strangely could be a sign that they are picking up far more than we imagine. The journey to uncover whether the bond between humans and their pets truly transcends even what the eyes can see begins now, and the first clues might be right there, in your companion's behavior. The journey to uncover whether the bond between humans and their pets truly transcends even what the eyes can see begins now, and the first clues might be right there, in your companion's behavior, in those moments that leave us puzzled and with our hearts beating a little faster. And speaking of those clues, those situations that make us question reality, I would love to know, have you ever experienced something like this with your pet? That moment when you were sure they were seeing or feeling an invisible presence? If this topic resonates with you, if it touches you in some way, or if you have a story, an opinion, or even a feeling about this special connection, leave in the comments what moved you the most or your experience. It's amazing how, by sharing these experiences, we realize we are not alone in our perceptions and doubts. And look, if what we've talked about so far has already sparked your curiosity, if you also believe there is much more between heaven and earth, and between us and our pets, than our vain philosophy dreams of, how about leaving a like on this video? It's a simple gesture, but it shows us that we're on the right track, that this kind of content resonates with you. And more, if you want to keep exploring these mysteries with us, unraveling the secrets of the supernatural and better understanding this deep spiritual connection, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. That way, you won't miss anything that's coming. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this kind of content. People who, like us, seek answers and are fascinated by the enigmas that life and our beloved animals present to us. It's this exchange, this community we form, that drives us to go deeper and deeper. And believe me, the signs they give us are just the beginning of this investigation, of this journey to understand the depth of the spiritual connection we share. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because to truly begin unraveling this hidden truth, we need to learn to read the signs, to decipher the silent language of our companions when they seem to be facing the inexplicable. And the signs are often clearer than we imagine, requiring only a shift in our mindset, an openness to observe the behind the scenes of their perception. Think of that fixed and prolonged gaze at a completely empty spot in the room. It is not a distracted look. It is focused, intense, as if they were following something that moves slowly, or that is simply there, still, invisible to our eyes. Have you ever witnessed your dog or cat doing this? It is one of the most common reports, and one of the most intriguing to us. And what about those persistent barks, growls, or meows directed at nothing? It is not the alert bark for a familiar noise, nor the meow asking for food. It is different, charged with urgency, a warning, or even a confrontation with something only they perceive. It is as if they are trying to communicate to us a presence that bothers them or puts them on high alert. Another behavior that raises a red flag is when suddenly your pet adamantly refuses to enter a specific room in the house, a place where they used to move around freely. Or that sudden fear, without any apparent cause, tail between the legs, ears down, desperate search for a hiding spot. These instinctive decisions of theirs can be a strong indication that something in that environment has changed for them, something they feel but we do not. And when they seem to follow something invisible with their eyes, tracking a movement through the air or on the floor, it's almost as if they are watching a movie that only plays on their frequency. Raised fur, without cold or a visible physical threat, is also a classic physiological response to fear or the perception of danger. And when this happens without a logical explanation, the possibility of an invisible presence gains strength. And of course, the excessive seeking of protection with you. The owner. They snuggle up, tremble, don't want to leave your lap. It is the instinct to seek safety when they feel vulnerable to something they do not fully understand, but definitely sense. Each of these behaviors is a piece of the puzzle, a clue that can lead to surprising revelations about the sensory world of our friends. Has your companion ever shown any of these signs markedly? Stay alert, because the impact of these observations can initiate a true transformation in how you understand your pet and the universe around you. If you have already noticed your pet acting in any of these ways, comment here, "My pet feels." Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because once we recognize these signs, the question that inevitably arises is, but why them? Why is it precisely our dogs, cats, and other animal companions who seem to have such a finely tuned antenna for what is invisible to our eyes and ears? Science, of course, offers us some fascinating clues, some explanations that lie behind the scenes of biology and animal behavior. But do they tell the whole story? The mystery, my friends, often goes beyond what laboratories can measure. Let's start with the obvious but no less impressive, the incredibly sharp senses of animals. Think of a dog's hearing, capable of picking up ultrasonic frequencies that are pure silence to us. Imagine a cat's sense of smell, millions of times more powerful than ours, detecting particles and odors in the air we can't even dream of existing. They live in a symphony of sensory stimuli that we humans, with our more limited perception, simply do not access. Small vibrations in the structure of the house, subtle changes in atmospheric pressure, odors imperceptible to us, but that can signal something unusual to them, or even, who knows, the approach of a different presence. This expanded sensory capacity already places them in a different category of perceiving reality. But that's not all. There is another crucial piece in this puzzle: their mentality, or rather, the absence of certain mental filters that we humans develop throughout life. We are conditioned to seek logical explanations, to rationalize, to doubt. Skepticism is often our first barrier. Our pets, on the other hand, do not have this filter. They do not stop to analyze whether what they are feeling makes sense within a scientific or social paradigm. They simply feel and react. Their decisions to alert or fear are instinctive, pure. If something in their environment deviates from the norm, if a different energy is perceived, the reaction is immediate. They do not have the confirmation bias or the need to fit the experience into a known box. And this reaction is deeply connected to their primitive alert instincts, an inheritance from their evolutionary journey, where survival depended on being constantly attentive to any change in the environment, any sign of danger. This readiness, this visceral connection to their surroundings, can make them incredibly receptive to phenomena that we, more distanced from nature and immersed in our own mental constructions, simply block or ignore. Could it be then that this combination of ultra-sharp senses and a less filtered, more instinctive perception opens the doors for them to perceive dimensions, energies, or presences that we, with all our complexity, end up sealing off? This is one of the most intriguing revelations that careful observation of our animals can provide us, a hidden truth that resides in the simplicity and purity of their perception. If you believe that animals have a special perception of the world, write this down. They feel more. Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject, because beyond theories and scientific or instinctive explanations, it is the real stories, the accounts of those who have experienced these inexplicable moments alongside their pets, that truly touch our hearts and make us question the limits of reality. It is these narratives that bring the behind-the-scenes of spiritual connection to center stage, showing the real impact these beings have on our lives, often in ways that defy any logic. Think, for example, of the widely publicized case of the dog who, night after night, barked incessantly at a specific corner of his owner's bedroom, a place where apparently there was nothing. The family, initially irritated by the behavior, ended up investigating more deeply, moved by the animal's insistence. They discovered, to their astonishment, a serious structural problem in the wall, a hidden leak that, if not for the dog's persistence in alerting them to that anomaly he somehow perceived, could have led to a collapse. Was it just the smell of moisture, a subtle sound only he heard? Or was there something more, an energetic presence linked to the imminent problem that the dog detected? The dog's decision to insist on the alert was crucial. Or the touching story of a cat who, after the death of his owner's husband, developed a peculiar behavior. Whenever the lady felt sadder, more nostalgic, or when she mentioned feeling the presence of her husband in the room, the cat would come, nestle in her lap, purr, and stare fixedly at the place where she felt her beloved's spirit was. It was as if the feline not only perceived the owner's emotional change, but also validated her feeling, offering comfort and perhaps confirming that spiritual connection that persisted beyond life. These are not just coincidences. They are behavior patterns that repeat, coming to us from different parts of the world, reinforcing the idea that our pets are much more than simple company. They seem to be true detectors of the invisible, silent guardians who, with their keen sensitivity, offer us glimpses of a reality that often escapes us. These shared experiences initiate a transformation in our mindset, opening us to the possibility that the journey alongside them is much richer and more mysterious than we imagine. If any story like this has ever given you chills or moved you, comment here, I believe. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because if they feel, if they perceive these invisible presences, could their role go beyond simple detection? Many believe, and I confess this is an idea that resonates deeply with me, that our pets not only sense, but also actively protect us from negative energies or even hostile presences. Could it be? It's a question that throws us into a fascinating territory, where loyalty and animal instinct meet the inexplicable, revealing the behind-the-scenes of a protection that transcends the physical. Let's think about instinctive protective behavior, especially in dogs. They guard our homes, alert us to physical dangers. But what if this guardian instinct extends beyond what we can see? What if that growl at an empty hallway or that persistent bark at a dark corner is not just an alarm for the unknown, but a real attempt to ward off something they perceive as a subtle threat to their family, to their energetic territory? The very idea that the inherent purity of animals, their innocence and absence of malice, could act as a natural shield, a kind of repellent against evil spirits or denser vibrations, is a concept found in various cultures and ancestral beliefs. It's as if the light that emanates from them has the power to dissipate shadows, a hidden truth about their protective capacity that can bring about a significant shift in our mindset about their true impact on our lives. And the accounts that support this belief are numerous, true revelations of this protective dynamic. Stories of pets who, suddenly and determinedly, place themselves physically between their owner and a specific spot in the environment where the human feels a chill, discomfort, or a sense of oppression. Dogs who refuse to leave their owner alone in a certain room, remaining in a state of maximum alert. Cats who hiss or bristle their fur toward dark corners as if facing an invisible adversary, making instinctive decisions to defend their space and their humans. These actions suggest a layer of protection that goes far beyond the tangible. It's as if, in their journey by our side, they also take on the role of spiritual guardians, silent sentinels against what we cannot see. Your furry friend may be a much more powerful and attuned guardian than you ever imagined, a true fortress of love, loyalty, and keen perception. If you have ever felt that your pet was protecting you from something invisible, comment here, my four-legged angel. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject. Because given so many reports and this almost tangible feeling that our pets interact with an invisible world, it is natural for us to seek to understand what science has to say. After all, we live in an era that values logical explanation, the measurable. And yes, science offers some interesting perspectives on certain behaviors that, at first glance, seem supernatural, shedding light on the behind-the-scenes of some of these perceptions. For example, that fixed stare into nothingness can, in some cases, be explained by a tiny insect we don't see, a dust particle floating under a specific light, or even by reflections and shadows that our eyes, less attentive to these details, simply ignore. Barking or meowing seemingly without reason can be a reaction to high or low-frequency sounds that escape our hearing ability. The distant whistle of an electronic device, the noise of pipes inside the wall, or even small earth tremors imperceptible to us. Subtle odors, which are evident to the keen sense of smell of a dog or cat, can also trigger alert or curious reactions that seem mysterious to us. Science reminds us that the sensory universe of our animals is vastly different from ours, and often the nothing to us is a very defined something to them. These explanations are valid and important, and help us maintain a balanced mindset, avoiding jumping to hasty conclusions in every situation. But what about when these rational explanations simply don't fit? And the cases, which are not few, where multiple pets in the same house react exactly the same way at the same time, directing their attention or fear to the same empty spot, where absolutely nothing physical can be detected by us. How to explain when an animal that has never shown fear of a specific room suddenly refuses to enter there, and this refusal is accompanied by clear signs of terror, even after we have thoroughly checked that there is no obvious sensory stimulus, no new smell, no strange sound, no visual change. And the stories of animals that seem to interact with the presence of deceased loved ones, showing behaviors they had specifically with that person. Science offers us valuable tools, helps us decipher part of the puzzle, But there are mysteries that seem stubbornly to escape its nets, inviting us to consider that perhaps the hidden truth about the spiritual connection and perception of our pets goes beyond what we can currently measure or prove in the laboratory. It is an invitation to humility and openness to the unknown, a journey of discoveries that continues to surprise us and challenge our decisions about what is real. The impact of these experiences can be a true transformation, leading to profound revelations. If you think science explains some things but not everything, comment here. The mystery continues. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because if the connection with our pets in life is already so intense and full of mysteries, what happens when they leave? The pain of loss is immense, a void that seems impossible to fill. However, it is precisely in this moment of mourning, behind the scenes of longing, that many owners report experiences that defy the logic of final separation, suggesting that the bond of love that unites us to them can, in some way, transcend the barrier of death. The spiritual connection seems to gain a new dimension, a hidden truth that manifests in subtle but deeply meaningful ways. There are touching accounts that speak of feeling that familiar touch on the skin, as if the soft fur of your companion still brushed against you. Others describe the unmistakable sensation of the animal's weight on the bed, in the same little corner where they used to sleep, or even the slight sinking of the sofa beside you. And the sounds? Those characteristic sounds. The soft scratching on the door, the jingle of the collar, the sound of little paws on the floor, a quiet meow, or a familiar bark echoing through the house, even when you know it's impossible. These are fleeting moments, often questioned by the grieving mind itself, but they bring a mix of surprise, comfort, and a hint of hope. The journey of mourning takes, for some, unexpected contours. And the dreams? Incredibly vivid dreams, where the pet appears healthy, happy, interacting as they always did. Dreams that seem so real that upon waking, the feeling is that they were truly there, offering a farewell, comfort, or simply a reminder that love continues. Moreover, there are cases where other pets in the house, those who lived with the companion who passed away, continue to react as if they were still present. They stare fixedly at the spot where the friend used to be, sniff the air, sometimes even try to play with an empty space, as if perceiving a presence we cannot see. These experiences lead us to deep reflection. Are they merely manifestations of our desire to have them back? A psychological comfort our mind creates to cope with the pain of loss? Or are they genuine signs, small cracks in reality that allow us to glimpse that the bond of love, this powerful energy we build with them, really does not break with physical death? The decision to believe in one possibility or the other is very personal, but the emotional impact of these visits is undeniable, potentially initiating a transformation in how we face life, death, and the continuity of emotional bonds. If you have ever felt the presence of a pet that has passed, right here. Love does not die. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because regardless of how we interpret each of these signs, each of these experiences, whether the heightened perception of the invisible, the instinctive protection against what we do not see, or the subtle contacts after departure, one thing becomes crystal clear, a hidden truth that pulses in every interaction. The connection we have with our pets is extraordinarily special, deeply touching, and for an increasing number of people, undeniably spiritual. It is a bond that seems woven with threads that go beyond matter, a fine tuning that resonates at frequencies reason alone cannot always grasp, revealing the behind-the-scenes of a relationship that defies simplistic definitions. This connection invites us to a philosophical reflection, to contemplate the possibility of souls that recognize each other, of spirits that meet and accompany each other through different stages of the journey of existence. The idea that the love we feel for them and that they so generously offer us is such a powerful energy that it can, in fact, transcend the physical form, resonates in many spiritual traditions and finds resonance in the heart of those who have already experienced this unique bond. It is not just about companionship or affection. It is about a meeting of essences, a communication that often happens in silence, in a look, in simple presence. They offer us a mirror of our own capacity to love unconditionally, to be loyal and present. And by doing so, perhaps they are also teaching us, in a very pure and direct way, about the great mysteries that permeate our existence, about the nature of consciousness, and about the continuity of life in its multiple forms. They come into our lives, often unexpectedly, and promote a true transformation in our mindset, in our daily decisions, in our understanding of what really matters. Every wag of the tail, every purr, every look of trust is a small revelation of the power of simple and genuine love. They remind us of the importance of living in the present, of appreciating the small joys, of being authentic. And even when they leave, the impact of their passage continues to echo, teaching us about impermanence, about longing, but also about the indestructible strength of the bonds that truly matter. The spiritual connection with our pets is, for many, one of the deepest and most meaningful experiences of life, an anchor of love in a world often chaotic and confusing. If you feel this deep and spiritual connection with your pet, right here, eternal bond. Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject. Because if this connection is so powerful and transformative, how can we, in our daily lives, strengthen it even more? How can we become more receptive to the signals they send us, to the revelations they may be trying to share about the world around us, and about their own perception of it? The good news is that there are ways, simple attitudes that can expand this communication and deepen mutual understanding, opening the backstage to an even richer journey of discoveries. The first step, and perhaps the most fundamental, is simply to pay more attention. Not just to obvious behaviors, but to those subtleties that often go unnoticed in the rush of life. A fixed gaze at a specific point, a sudden change in posture, a low growl, or an almost inaudible meow directed at something we don't see. It is in these small details that the key to understanding what they are perceiving often lies. Creating an environment of absolute trust is also crucial. When our pets feel completely safe and loved, they become more likely to express their instincts and perceptions without fear. This means respecting their spaces, their fears, and their decisions, offering comfort and security instead of reprimand when faced with behaviors we don't immediately understand. The impact of this trust is immense. Furthermore, spending quality time in silence with your animal can work true miracles in this spiritual connection. Turn off the television, put the phone aside, and simply be present. Meditating beside them, or just sitting quietly, observing your breath and theirs, can help tune your energies, calming your mindset and theirs, and opening channels of non-verbal communication that are incredibly powerful. And last but not least, trust your intuition, and above all, your animal's intuition. If you feel that they are trying to tell you something, even if it doesn't make immediate logical sense, give credit to that feeling. They possess instinctive wisdom, a hidden truth in their perception that we often block with our rational minds. By truly tuning in to your pet, by allowing yourself to enter this universe of non-verbal communication, you can discover a world of understanding and complicity you never imagined. And who knows, together, you might unravel some of those mysteries that intrigue us so much, promoting a true transformation in your relationship. If you are willing to enhance this connection, comment here, always learning from them. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because when we look at this entire journey we have shared with them, it becomes increasingly clear, doesn't it? Our pets are infinitely more than just companions who brighten our days. They are true windows into a universe of perceptions that often escape our limited senses, revealing the behind-the-scenes of a reality much broader and more mysterious than our everyday mindset usually admits. They are like beacons, illuminating corners of existence that would remain in the shadows without their heightened sensitivity, constantly offering us revelations about what truly matters. They take on, with touching loyalty, the role of silent guardians, not only of our physical homes, but, as many of us deeply feel, also of our energetic and emotional well-being. Their instinctive decisions that alert to nothing apparent, that sudden protection, carry an impact that resonates in our soul, suggesting a layer of care that transcends understanding. They are bearers of a love that defies cold logic, a love that imposes no conditions, that does not judge, that simply is. A love so pure and intense that, for many, seems to challenge the very finitude of life, hinting at a hidden truth about the persistence of the bonds that truly matter. This connection has the power to bring about a profound transformation in who we are, shaping our ability to love, to feel empathy, and to perceive the world with more depth and meaning. Every moment beside them is a lesson, an opportunity for growth, a chance to glimpse the beauty of total and selfless surrender. They teach us, without words, about the essence of life, and perhaps about the mysteries that extend beyond it. If you feel that your pet is a window to something greater, comment here, "My portal of love." And what an incredible journey we have traveled together so far, exploring this very special spiritual connection, isn't it? If you felt that every word, every story shared here resonated within you, if this conversation brought any revelation or comfort to you, tell me down below by writing, "I felt the connection until the end." I would love to know that this exchange had that impact and that you followed our exploration up to this point. And if you really enjoyed this conversation, if you felt that the content added value and opened your mind to new perspectives about our four-legged friends and the mysteries that surround us, that like of yours is a very special sign that we are building something meaningful together. To not miss the next deep dives we will make into topics like this, so full of hidden truth and emotion, and to continue this transformation in our perspective, take advantage and subscribe here to the channel. That way, you stay up to date with all the news and continue this journey of discoveries with us. In fact, there is a video appearing here on the side that I think perfectly complements everything we talked about today, almost like a natural continuation of this exploration. Click there and we'll meet in the next video for more revelations.